Building muscle does not have to be difficult, but it has a lot to do with how effective are your reps. Are you cutting them short? Are you getting the most out of each and every single rep when you're in the gym? Stay tuned while I break down 3 different ways and make sure that your reps are as effective as possible. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Liftaholics TV. Today, I'm gonna break down a push exercise, a pull exercise, and a leg exercise, just to give you a little variety so you can make sure that the next time you go for your push-pull leg day, chest day, shoulder day, whatever you're doing, you can make sure all your reps are as effective as they possibly can. All right, so I'm gonna use shoulder press as an example, but these principles can apply if you're doing a chest press, any type of military press, any type of bench press. If you want to get the most out of each rep, you're getting a full range of motion, you're using a good tempo, but you're also using different cues within the rep to make the rep even more effective. So for the shoulder press, when I go up, I'm pressing not just to here, I'm making sure that I'm bringing the dumbbells inward together so I can get a little bit more tension on the targeted muscle group while I'm going upwards. So next, after that, I want to make sure that I'm not just dropping my arms down to the bottom before I press back up. I got to control the weight all the way down. That piece right there is what most weightlifters in the beginning forget to do, because you're not used to trying to find the tension. You might not really have that great of a mind-muscle connection, but making sure that you're lowering to the bottom slowly, typically somewhere between a 3 and 4 second count, is gonna help you develop that mind-muscle connection even more, because you could get a lot of tension just on the negative piece of the rep. Get to the bottom of the rep, I'm not just hitting it and shooting back up. Making sure when I get to the bottom, I got a 1 second pause at the bottom of the rep. What that's doing is ensuring that I have the weight controlled. So if I'm not controlling the weight when I'm at the bottom of the rep and I'm just throwing it back up there, I might not even be using my shoulders anymore. I could be using my body to push the weight back up to the top. So when I control it at the bottom and get that little 1 second pause at the bottom, you're gonna make sure that the whole rep is controlled. And then when I push back up to the top, I'm not just shooting it up to the top. I'm going up to the top with a nice tempo. So I can put tension on the targeted muscle group in 3 different places. At the bottom, going up, and going down. Second exercise we're gonna go over to make sure that you're getting effective reps every single time that you do your pull day. We're gonna start with the seated row. So we're gonna use the seated row because for most pull exercises, you're pulling in and then you're squeezing up. The first thing that I'm doing is I'm making sure that my body is lined up correctly. Now that's really, really important when you're using pull exercises, whether it's the lat pull down, the back row, making sure you're in an RDL position. For this exercise specifically, I'm making sure that my leg position isn't straight out or I'm not all up on the machine or anything like that. I want to make sure I'm at a good distance in order to lengthen out the muscle group. That's really, really important when you're doing back pull exercises. You want to lengthen out that muscle group. Both positions are going to mess with my range of motion, as I'm either not going to be able to get that lean forward if I'm all up on the machine, and my legs are straight across, this is going to be kind of awkward to lean forward, and I'm going to start using my legs in the movement. So the leg position is key when you're trying to make sure that you're doing this exercise correctly. So the other thing that you want to make sure that you're doing properly is you're leaning forward. So when I'm pulling this back, I'm not just standing, I'm not just sitting straight up and down. I'm going to make sure that we're getting that slight lean forward, and then we're also still getting that pause, except the pause is a lot more important here than it is on the push exercises. When we're in the push exercises, the pause is there to make sure that we got control at the bottom. It's not really that much tension on the bottom there. But at the end of the movement here on the pull exercises, it's a lot of tension at the back of the movement, and we want to make sure we're not missing any of that. And of course, 3 to 4 second tempo while allowing the weight to go downwards and then not rushing back up to the top of the movement. All right, I'm gonna use the leg exercises last to show you how to make sure that your squatting is effective the next time you go to the gym. It's kind of the same principles as we use with the push. Just like we wouldn't let the dumbbells just drop down like that when we're doing a shoulder or chest press, we don't want our bodies to just drop down to the ground. Putting a lot of extra pressure on our knees, and we're missing almost all of the tension in the squat movement in general. So whether you want to use a goblet, front squat, back squat, half squat machine, you're gonna apply these principles to all of those squatting movements the next time you do your leg day. So I'm using the goblet squat as an example just to show a nice drop down. So all of that tension that I'm getting on my quads, a lot of it is coming from the negative movement going downwards. So if I'm just dropping my body in there, I'm not getting any of that. All I'm getting attention, the only thing I'm getting attention from is when I'm going upwards. Now, you can get a lot of attention from moving the weight upwards, but you're gonna get a lot more from it if you're using the negative movement to benefit you. So So just like we did with the push-pull exercises, we're not rushing to the top. We're also taking a 3 to 4 second count to get back down to the bottom. But it's really important that you get that nice little pause at the bottom of the squat too. You wanna make sure that your body is under control, especially your knee and lower back position, before you push back up to the top. But you also wanna make sure when you're at the bottom of the movement, increasing the time under tension that you're putting on your quad muscle. It's really important that you take these leg exercises, especially squats, you take your time and get through them. I had a lot of problems growing my legs when I first started weightlifting, and a lot of it was because of my control. It was not using a full range of motion. It was a lot of not using the negative motion at all. So you're gonna increase and make the reps that much harder when you're focusing on using a full range of motion and when you're trying to focus on the negative movement, just like the push and pull exercise. If you enjoyed this video and you were looking for more like it, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section. Also, don't get out of here without hitting the subscribe and notification button so you can be up to date on any other videos that I post in the future. See you next time.